and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Minecraft with me, Nacy. Today is another big day, like all the other days have been recently, where we're gonna try to get stuff sorted here in the world. Now we're back in the castle town, because we have one large area that's still very much unfinished, and that is this one over here, this long narrow strip. So I was doing a little bit of brainstorming, thinking about what could be the correct thing to put in here. Now we have a lot of different buildings around the castle town already. What are we missing? What would make sense? And I realized that the original intent of the castle town was to kind of have a space to put our villagers in to different buildings, right? Although our alchemist has disappeared from the mage tower, you know, the rest remain. We've got the librarians in the library. We have the stonemasons in the stonemason's house. We have the town hall that's got all the villagers that breed up and stuff. So I think the next one is the Fletcher, who's sitting right here on his own, all sad. You've got like a little stall, but where do you go home at night? Nowhere, because you can't leave this, but if we pretend you can, where do you go home at night? Well, you would actually need to have a place built for you. And so I'm thinking that this long narrow section is kind of perfect for a shooting range, don't you think? Like a little archery range? That's the exact amount of space we would need to kind of shoot things across. And so I think we could fit in like a little cottage or a hut here somewhere around here. I'm not sure exactly where. We'd have to fill out this random weird hole in the floor. That is natural terrain, but I think we're past needing it. And then we just need to have like a nice little path that goes around here as well and connect everything up. And it honestly should be a pretty straightforward job. Now, I kind of woke up and decided I really want to build with birch today, which is going to be an interesting challenge because that's the sort of color palette off the wall. So I don't know how we're going to make it not blend too much. I guess it's going to fit in with these buildings as well. And there's some birch over here. I mean, birch just sort of makes sense, but also tricky because I've used it so much. But first off, I think terraforming is the way forward. And I think it's going to be a little bit easier to build if I just clear out a little bit of this land and fill in this weird gap. Now that I've cleared out the land, I feel like we have a lot more space here to work with, so I went ahead and planned out some things. First off, archery range. Yeah, I've put out some target blocks and just started kind of shooting at them. It's surprisingly harder to hit it from this distance than I thought it would be. I keep shooting too high. Okay, I heard that. I've hit that one. Hit that one. Once you sort of figure out where to aim, I think it's okay, but it's definitely a challenge. I feel very rusty on the bow, especially because I've got a new mouse and I want to blame the mouse on it. It feels weird to bow things here. There is a comparator there because I was trying to figure out how to pick up these, but it turns out I can literally just place them on the target block and it'll work, and it will tell me whether it hit things or not. I realized it's kind of pointless though because the flame bow really gives things away way more than, you know, that lighting up for half a second. That really doesn't light up for a very long time. It's still kind of satisfying though. It's some sort of visual indication, especially if I decide not to use a flame bow in the future. But I was also thinking we could try to do copper bulbs instead. They would need to be hit twice, but maybe I can hook up some sort of like an automatic reset system. I don't know. Basically, I was trying to plan out the cottage size here and how far things will go, and this is the idea for the archery range here. We go in, and this is our archery range, and this is like a little path that leads alongside it. It's a level up just so it's a little bit separated. We'll have fences and everything to kind of further that separation of the two, just so people aren't walking through the path, and by people I mean me and the villagers. And then as you follow this path up here, it takes you onto this main area over here, and I think this is as big as we'd want our cottage to be. I was thinking about it from sort of sight lines and perspectives and everything, and we have a lot of tall buildings here, right? We've got this one, and an even taller one here. As you sort of cross this corner, it really opens up here with the library. And so I was thinking it's kind of nice to have something on the shorter side here, just so it's not all on the same tall level, right? Even the tree is kind of at the same height. So this one is going to be a little bit shorter. I'm going to grab the eye and bring it down to these target blocks in this archery range. And that also means as you come in to this side, hopefully you're just going to see the Happy Gas Tower, maybe the gates here, but this building over here is not going to sort of steal the spotlight. Hopefully, I'm not sure. not quite sure what I'm doing here. Plus we want the town hall design to kind of remain visible. Looks a little bit weird just now without the glass being connected, but you know, there's a little bit of brain power going into here, a little bit of thinking. So first, I think we're gonna hook up some redstone to this, see what I want to do with that, and then we're gonna figure out the design of the actual building, and then we're gonna decorate the paths and the archery ground over here. I I don't know how kitty cat got over there. Hello, darling. What are you doing? But I do have a very simple redstone setup here, and I do mean extremely simple. Basically, I shoot this. Can I nail this? Yep, yep. You know, I shoot them. It turns on. If I land a hit, good test. You know, I was testing to see if I hit that, and then when I do that, it all turns off except for the last one. And I can just do it again, and then next time, I think they all turn off. Wonderful. Works exactly as intended, but I can't be bothered to fix that very last one. It's literally just a redstone line going, right? It's just that. I'll show it to you, but basically you hit the target block, boom, sends out a redstone signal to all the lights, which means we could technically actually do this as well. We could hit this one, turn them all on. hit this one to turn them all off. Amazing. That's not really how you're meant to use them, but that's a function, I guess. But yeah, I do have a very rudimentary sort of color palette here, and I'll mess around with the texturing a bit later. But I'm thinking we have a lot of really bright colors kind of in this section. We have a lot of those bright whites. We have the, as if there's any non-bright whites, but you know what I mean. We have a lot of white. We have this beautiful resin color. We have the mangrove. We even have this sort of cyany color, a lot of reds. There's just a lot of different colors going on. I kind of want to tie in more of this sort of look to the build though. And I actually want to try something I'm surprised I haven't done anywhere here, except for the stables really, and this and that. Okay, I have done it in a few places. And by that I mean a mossy roof. I kind of just fancy adding a little bit more of that green towards this area. And I think it kind of makes sense. At some point there was some sort of lore about this mine with the way how green it is. And this little garden here surviving in the winter. I didn't know I had polar bears in this section, huh? I thought they were just on the ice. This one made it all the way to the garden. Lovely. But yeah, anyways, there's a little bit of greenery concentrated here. And then that greenery sort of extends to over here, almost in a triangle. And then we go back to sort of the sprucey leaves on this side. But I think here, if I can find a way, bring in the azalea and bring in the spruce together somehow on this house, on this cottage, I'd be delighted with that. And I think the best way to do that is to have a mossy roof and then sprinkle some spruce leaves on it, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're going to go for a very neutral colour palette with some green roof. And I hope that will look good. It'll certainly feel cottagecore, and that's definitely what I want here for this little cottage. So I'm going to continue building. I've ran into an issue already, as it is very typical per my building process. I think this build feels too big to be cozy as it is, so I think we need to section it off a little bit. It is quite wide, on accident. I think it's as wide as this building. In fact, actually this one is less wide. This is wider, and I think it's also wider than the town hall, or at least it's the same sort of length. And so it feels less cottagey. It's less like the cute little house I thought it was going to be, and more like a impeding large presence. And I think that we can fix this in many ways. I think first off, section it a bit of it off and making the shape less rectangular is going to make it cuter. So I'm actually thinking if we do this, let's actually just strip these while we go. Do this and section off a layer. And then this could be our sort of front door maybe, or something like that. Who knows? Now we already have a little bit more of a section look. And I think this is a bit playing with fire because it's going to make the roof a lot more tricky, but I think the roof would look bad anyways if it was this big and just like one simple shape. I think if we remove this section and maybe move it in a block or two, I don't know how that's going to feel. But I think we're gonna still have a very similar amount of usable space inside for villagers, with a little bit more of a a space here at the front for maybe a garden or something. I'm not sure. We're going cottagecore, right? So I need this to be kind of cute. I need this to be kind of cute. If we move in, say, to here, I don't know why I left these in here, but let's just think we'll live for now. Why not? If we move into this level, okay. I'm trying to vision. I'm trying to use my mind's eye here. 2, 1, 2, 3. I guess it's kind of moving in 3 blocks, maybe. How would this feel? Actually, oh, you know what would be cute? Okay, I don't know if I want this here, but it'd be kind of cute if there was like a little chicken garden, which is a little bit morbid, but if you think about where the arrows get their feathers from, do they buy them in, or do they raise chicken? Because otherwise, where would our chickens come from? Our chickens would probably come from this barn. At the moment, the barn only has cows. And it probably will only have cows for a while. I don't even know if I want to put chickens in here. Do we put chickens in the town? Or do I create a separate chicken farm? I am now obsessed with the idea of the logistics of it. Where do my Fletchers get their chickens from? Like this, the flint kind of makes sense because we have this quarry here that I've never finished, like this little second mine. Plus there's a mine just on the opposite side over here that we could maybe connect to. Maybe, I don't know. I kind of like just having the one big gate opening and then obviously another portal. Where did the chickens come into the equation here? What do I do with the chickens? Do I keep the chickens? Maybe this would work. I don't know. I'm gonna play around with the shape a little bit more, but I do think there is merit in breaking it up so it's not a big rectangle. We'll see how it goes. You know what? I think this is pretty cute. I think this roof is pretty cute. If I say so myself, look at it. I don't know about the dark prismarine yet, but I wanted to, you know, tie in a new color in here, make it slightly different from the other moss roofs we have done around the place. As I said, this one is very simple and plain. This one has got the bamboo gradient, which I do like, and this one gets to have a bit of that dark prismarine. We're working in the sort of dark turquoise color, which I think is just going to work so well as a transition between whatever's going on here and these greener areas. I don't know, I am a big fan, especially with the way these bushes look. I mean, look at them. They have the same color as the grass here, but when you put them against the moss, it's so obvious that it's not quite the same shade. I do think it works. It sort of blends it all together. It maybe looks a bit better from afar than it does up close. I'm still a fan. And I'm just trying to decide, what do I do for this section over here? Do I do a second mossy roof, or do we just do something different? Oh, I quite like seeing the particles as well. Maybe if we put some spruce trees here. Spruce leaves here. We'll have the falling leaf particles as well. No, I do think that another moss roof here wouldn't quite work. I don't know. I feel like it'd have to be flat or sideways like this, but then we're walking into this wall and it just sort of, it doesn't really make sense. When you think about why roofs are sloped, right? Even this one doesn't really make sense because the water's going to run down and just stagnate here, right? Unless we have like technically a little curve down for it to fall down here, maybe. But over here, if we imagine this is the center of a roof and we make a triangle like that with my mouse movements, I hope that's clear enough. The water would just run down and sit here against the wall. Moldy. Not what we want. I mean, in reality, maybe all of these homes are a little bit moldy because how can they not be with this amount of leaves growing on them? But we're not going to think about that unless for some reason I think I need to think about it, which is, yeah, anyways. I think that just solidifies the fact that I am not doing another moss roof over here. How would I feel about bringing some mangrove into here? I have a lot of mangrove everywhere else. Would it make sense? We could just do another spruce roof like this one. That would also work, I think. There's too many options almost. I feel like mangrove might look a bit strange. Actually, the good question is, what kind of shape of a roof would this even be? I'm not sure, to be honest. You know what? I think this sort of weird sloped roof has got enough character to work here against the backdrop of this incredibly straight rectangular sort of part of the build. So I do need to use slabs to kind of achieve the shape. But overall, I think it's cute. If we go like this, and I'm thinking already with the strip spruce trimming, that this might look strange with using more spruce. So it could potentially be a dark oak angle. It would fit in with this. It would. Is it a little bit boring? Maybe. But this is very monochrome. Let's try dark oak. No, I do think this is going to work. I do think this is going to work. At first, I thought it might look strange because that's a lighter colored roof and this is going to be a darker one. But I think it works in the context of everything else going on around it. I don't think I mind. No, I don't. Oh, this is starting out so cute already. I'm kind of chuffed. I think I needed to build something a little bit, well, on the cute side. How many times can I say the word cute? This is like what the game. I don't know. This is just another one of those moments where I just fall in love with Minecraft all over again. I don't know how to explain this feeling of pride I get otherwise. I really don't, but just when you have an idea and it sort of all comes together, and even though I'm kind of making decisions as I go along, I'm definitely winging it, it's so satisfying. It's so satisfying being able to see that something is happening right before my eyes all by myself. I love it. But, you know, on all seriousness though, I think I do need to incorporate dark oak elements elsewhere in the build. So now I'm thinking like, this looks strange. Looks strange, but you know, something along those lines. Now, thankfully for myself, I do have dark oak here already on these really weird targets. That now, the more I look at them, the weirder they feel. They feel like almost like a creature of some sort. I don't know how to explain it. I think it's these two dots. They sort of have these similar dots, and then I'm almost conditioned to imagine target block plus hay bale as like a dummy, like a fighting dummy, and now you add the copper balls on top, and they just feel strange. And actually, I think I'm gonna get rid of it all. I'm gonna use the dark oak in here in a different way, but I don't want them to look like dummies, because if we're going with the concept of these are hunters, you know, like hunt for food, it'd be strange to have almost human lookalike dummies, right? That's more military stuff. So, what can we do with this to make it look cuter? I almost want to inset the target blocks by 1, but then that'll make redstone a lot more harder for me. And as I go in here already, covering this redstone up right here is going to be difficult. I almost have to go and sort of do this, right? Because I can't remove these blocks, which is an entrance of some sort, I guess. You know what can't be fixed with leaves? Not this. This can be fixed with leaves. What if we put like almost like a garden down here? Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. You know, like we just check things in here and put some, I don't know, firefly bushes in. Okay, I don't see the vision yet, but like with anything else, it's gonna come together at some point. So let me just think about this for a little bit longer. You know, one part of the game that's always bothered me, and I kind of hate having to do this, but I do it for my own sanity, is how sometimes the easiest way to get resources is to demolish the natural environment. I don't really like that feeling. So much so, like, I really don't like doing it in mangrove swamps. I really don't like doing it for rooted dirt. But I feel like the alternative ways to get those materials just feel incredibly slow. I mean, mud is sort of manageable. You can make sort of a redstone farm, and I'm sure you can make a redstone farm for this as well. In fact, it wouldn't even be that hard. But I feel like the quantities you get for the effort of putting these things up, of setting them up, just feel like, why bother when you can go and, you know, mine out a stack of dirt in the 10 seconds I've been talking, right? What is the point? But it does make me feel incredibly bad, and I guess I wish there was more options, or maybe I wish I was good enough at redstone to make it more efficient instead of having to dig out the environment. And I certainly wish there was an option for a lot of blocks, like coral blocks or sand or stuff like that. Please, can we have more renewable ways of getting these materials? Also, how cool does this base starting to look? Like, I mean, look how cool. It's not an angle I play in from often, but just seeing everything load in, and especially at nighttime, can we admire this a little bit? There's so much going on, but I don't hate it. It's like busy, cluttered, but it's kind of cozy. It's kind of cozy, right? I've got my Rita dirt here. For this reason here, I have decided to go ahead with the little chicken coop here at the front. I just think I'll bring a little bit of life here to this place, especially because our villagers otherwise are stuck inside because they are tradable. So let's pop in some chickens. Now, the only problem is, okay, and I don't know if it's because I'm the game noob and I actually just don't know, there are cats spawning here because of the villagers nearby, right? Are cats natural predators to chickens? Is that just foxes? Like, do cats do it as well? Surely not. How else are you meant to have cats and chickens in a village, right? Surely not. These chickens will be fine. I'm not setting it up for failure. Hopefully. I think the mycelium or the rooted dirt. Or maybe both. Maybe both. Let's break some rules. Hype is not dead. The joy is still there because I am loving the way this is turning out. I added a little barrier here to separate the range from the path, like I said I was going to do. And it's cute. I'm going to put some lanterns on here maybe. Don't know about these logs. I kind of like it. You know, we have a lot of visible logs actually around the area. We have some there. We have a whole bunch there. Sorry, sunflower. Have a whole bunch there. I think we have some there. Yep. Oh, thanks, sunflower. They're basically like a common theme in this build. I actually just love the way open spruce logs look. I know they're not for everybody. I do think that maybe swapping out this bottom block here would be better. Maybe if we just more tough. Feels less like a fence now. I don't know, but there's things to do here, and this path definitely makes the whole place feel a little bit clearer and less messy. And then I've extended the path down this way. I've amended these stairs a little bit, but I might change them even more. I actually don't think they need to be here at all. It sort of just makes more sense if the whole thing comes down one more. You know, we just extend the stairs on the side. Can we do that? Can I get away with doing this? Huge in my world. Wow, who would have thought that I can just change things on the go? Yeah, that this makes a lot more sense. I like this. I like this. The only thing now that I'm trying to decide is whether I want these to connect or not. Do I? I kind of like it they have to be up here and then go down this way or go down this way, but then when I think about it, what do people do? You know, if we add a little bit of realism to this place, I think people would definitely skip taking the stairs. They would definitely skip taking the stairs. So I think we have to also create like a little tiny path through here, just so you can kind of walk through it. You know, it's maybe not an official path, but it's like what are they called? There's actual terms for these paths. I don't know. Desire paths? Is that the word that came to mind? Wait, I have to look this up. That is apparently what they're called, so I'm very proud of myself for knowing this. And now this whole hill kind of feels pointless. So I might just remove this. Does it make sense for us to even have these stairs going up and down? Well, sort of, because, you know, this leads into the library, and it just feels like the library needs multiple routes of access. Plus, you can go up this way, right? Let's not forget about the fact that there's an alleyway there. So, what do I do with this section, with this corner? I am not sure. We definitely want to tough it up and have this tough extend all the way down. Maybe we put something get cozy here, like a little stall, a little market stall. But the market stalls are up there. I don't know. I like this. Maybe we do something similar. You know, I think to kind of match the theme of everything else going around here with all these leaves and flowers, this really should just be a little garden, shouldn't it? I feel like a little garden would just make sense here. We're gonna give that desired path feel by having it a little bit more overgrown. Maybe put some azalea down, some firefly bushes, which I'm surprised I actually don't have anywhere in the area. And really need to get rid of these torches. And I really like this path. The shame is that I'm going to have to add these copper bulbs everywhere if I don't want the snow to stay. But that's okay. That's just the way that pathing works in the snow biomes. I think here, if I move these slightly out the way, we could maybe... These are going to face the stairs. Yeah, they are, which is kind of sad. Okay. Any other yellow flowers? Wildflowers! We have wildflowers now. These are going to be perfect for what I want. Keep forgetting they're in the game. I don't know why. They just don't stand out as much. And maybe let's grab some dandelions as well as maybe oxeye daisies. And let's get some bone meal. I'm gonna pop these on. So cute. But let's get more. some oxeye daisies. Yep, yep, perfect, perfect, perfect. And I wonder, don't want too much of this snowed on because it is a garden. So I do think these might be the key to success. I don't think snow can settle on the flowers. Maybe if we mix it up with some rooted dirt or coarse dirt, that would look good as well. Okay, this is a bit of a wild idea and I only have 7 to try it, but we can always activate our farm. How do resin clumps look mixed in with the flowers? Not so good on the dirt, or maybe they are. Maybe they work better on the dirt. I don't know. I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna try it out. This is maybe one of those things where if there's more than just a few, you sort of start seeing them as flowers. Maybe, I'm not sure. I do think these would look better if the grass color was the brighter green one, but it is what it is. The azalea leaves almost feel a bit strange here, but theme, right? We're gonna make it work regardless. Plus, these have bright green in them, so it's just gonna work. We have a nice little sort of overgrown flower garden path here. Maybe a little bit too overgrown, but that's the way forward if we don't want snow on this section. Maybe we should put some lights in here as well. That's going to be very dark, isn't it? Let's get some lanterns. And it's snowing, so I'll get to see really what needs covered up or not. But I did realize our good friend Fletcher is also probably going to work, so we could maybe reduce the amount of flowers here and just sprinkle on some Fletcher as well. And, you know, altogether, it might just work well enough to have this be snow-free without it looking too cluttered. Maybe? I don't know. There's a chance there, you know, there's opportunity here for things to sort of work well. Let's put in some more rooted dirt, because that's what I have on hand, even though coarse dirt might work better here. We're cooking, sort of. I do think we're cooking to an extent. Okay, let's pop a lantern. Where's this one here already? I didn't notice that. Well, we can at least pop a lantern on here, and here, and here, here, and here, and here, and here. Maybe? Yeah, kind of cute. We'll see how much of that melts the snow. Probably not very many. I'll probably need some ways of de-snowing this path as well, at least to an extent. I don't know if I'm going insane. I feel like these are not the same color. So we're right on the border here of the biomes. And I swear this one, which is in plains, and this one, which is in snowy plains, they're not the same color. Right? This one's a bit more brighter. I was thinking, why does it look so weird? These are not, no, I'm certain. Let me, I don't know. I don't know how else to check this out aside from literally just do what I did, but compare it somewhere else. Let's see, this is snowy plains. This is, this is all snowy plains. Plains, snowy, plains, plains, snowy, plains. I can't tell. Wait, no, they are though. Right? Right? They're different colors, right? I'm not going insane. Like, okay, when I put down more, I feel like it's even more obvious. Like this feels even more obvious. These are way browner. Like bright brown, saturated. Yeah, they. I never knew you did that. No, I want this color everywhere, please. Why are these more dead? Why are these different? No, I wanted the brown one. That's weird. I've never realized that. I've never known that. It just feels like it's right here. I realized it. I was like, I swear these are browner. Everywhere else I put them, I swear they look better with the logs. Ah. I don't know how to feel about this. That's why it feels so weird here. I mean, mission was success because we have very little snow here now. And this does have the nice vibe I was going for. Maybe it's a little bit too cluttered, but that's okay. I might change this up in a little bit. I really want to use more of these leaves. But they're not the right color. Why have they decided to do this? Please explain. Why must I suffer for having my base in a snowy biome? Why? Okay, maybe we'll just let a few of these blocks get snowed on then. It'll just feel more natural than it all being melted, probably. Yeah, right? I don't know what I'm doing. I definitely got carried away pathing a little bit, but I really enjoyed it this time around because I kind of knew what I was going for. Sometimes paths can be difficult if you have to decide on a color palette and it gets a little bit boring and repetitive, but thankfully I had not too big of a space to work in, but also enough opportunity to try different things. So here we have this lovely path that I made super ages ago whenever I worked in this building that's not been finished. Let's ignore that. But I wasn't a big fan of just how stony this ended up. I like the tough additions here. So I actually tried to bring that back a little bit here with tough and adding a little bit more mossy sort of tones into it. I think that works a lot better, so I will probably update this section as well. I don't know how to path this, but I think that looks cute. And the lanterns are okay. I like this one, not sure about that one, we'll think about it. And this has really come together as well, not fully tied in, but now when you stand here, you can kind of start seeing the vision, right? This area already feels so much more finished, and there's basically nothing done to the house or the firing range yet. Firing range? Archery range. We're not shooting other things here. But I really need to work on the inside of this house as well. There's been nothing done on the inside. I've literally just been working on the outside, but I'm having a blast. Can you blame me? And I think it's cute. I think this looks fairly nice. Look at that. It's busy, it's cluttered, but I think it works overall, considering it's meant to be like a little side bit. You know, this is your main path still. You can come up this way, and then you can come down this way. But if you want to take the slightly more hidden road, the hidden path, you can go around this way with all the flowers. It's cute. It's lovely. I like it. Just need to fix this bit, fix that bit, fix the inside of the house, fix the roof. Yep, unfinished. But overall, like, I really like this view. This is good view already. You know, with this path and this roof, it kind of stands out. Oh, look at this angle. You can see so many different houses here. Such a cool skyline I'm creating here. I am proud of it all. Okay, let's actually get the build done though. This is all background. We need to build. We seem to have had victims. I'm pretty sure there were villagers in these boats. I've obviously not lit something up well enough. And it's been loaded in while I've been working on this area. We've lost potentially 4 villagers. And yeah, I guess it's my fault for not finishing the haunted mansion, but I'm working on the interior in here and I think this looks pretty cute. It's like a little workbench area here. It's really tricky to cover up this redstone. Like this one right here. So I decided to put the shelving in here. And now I'm trying to think about how I can cover this up. It's a little bit tricky. I'm also trying to not use blocks that that villagers can work with. Like I was going to use composters. I just realized that's what farmers use, right? So I can't really use that either. Do I just put this here? I mean, just kind of, it doesn't really make sense why it's sticking out. I could do trapdoors. Whoopsie, there goes that block. I do trapdoors, but then they are going to activate every time the redstone goes off. Do I just give up on this corner? Do I just put down like maybe like this? We just kind of section this off. Yeah, we don't really need that, but like a painting here or something. And then behind here we could pretend it's like a storage cupboard or something. Put some doors down. Yeah. Are you seeing the vision? Because I'm not, but I'm trying. I always really struggle with interiors. And this one's no exception because it's a bit of a tricky shape. Yeah, this works for me. I also need to think about where I'm going to put the villagers in here. That's the whole point, right? And I have not left myself much room. But I think 1, 2, 3, we fit at least 3 Fletchers. Or maybe the plan is not to have them kind of stuck in place. Like the stonemasons here, they're kind of stuck in place, right? And it's a little bit ugly and I don't love it. I could go for the alternative option of what I have going on here where these guys are just free roaming, and I think I prefer that. I'm not sure why I didn't do that with the stonemasons, to be honest. But we're probably gonna have some free roaming Fletchers, which means I'm gonna need to have these doors. I completely flew past where I'm going. I'm gonna need to have these doors have a trap door in front of them so they can't leave. I think so. I don't think there's anywhere here they could take fall damage otherwise. So that should be pretty easy to block off. He's trying so hard. So hard. I'm sorry, pal. You're too tall. I should probably put a bed in there though, so they stop trying to leave, because it's kind of ugly. Well, I think we might be done with the build and so the video for today. Let's take a little look. I think we're going to take this path down so I can show you guys how it feels to kind of walk around the castle town now. We go down this way, and then we have the little alleyway this way, has the hot springs, and then we go back down this way. Here's our barracks, here's our stonemason house, and I added some buttons and pressure plates for a little bit of texture on this path. And boom, and we have a little cottage here, and I think it looks so cute. At first I thought about putting something in the space like a custom tree or something, but then I realised we really don't need to clutter this more, especially because the area over here is already really tight and sort of cramped feeling. We definitely don't need more. As you come out here, I kind of like that it opens up, plus you have a little cute chicken garden. More chickens? Yes, more chickens. We have this path over here. Hello. And we had a little bit of an issue. I had to move this trapdoor over to this side because when it was on the inside, it turns out that when I shot the targets, the redstone signal that is right here would activate that pressure plate, and I had a villager escape. But this is their interior, and I had a little curtains for them, and I think that's quite cute. I haven't done anything with the upstairs yet. I'm not too sure what I should do. It's like an awkward space in here, right, with the redstone and everything. So I've really just left it. Maybe one day I'll put like storage for arrows or something up there, and maybe a ladder or something for me to get up. But for now, it can stay the way it is. I kind of like it. It's kind of always feels like an attic of some sort, so they can keep it. Yeah, this way back out to the chicken garden, and the villagers can actually come out this door if they wanted to. They don't seem to want to hang out with the chickens though. I don't think they can open gates, so they should be pretty safe in here. And now the star of the show, I mean the cottage is very much a star of the show, look at that. Fletcher's cottage, I had a little sign, I actually had a little sign over here as well because I just thought it needed a little bit something, and that's cute. But if we go down this path, which very conveniently doesn't snow over too much, and we go this way and boom, grand reveal. What do we think? It's busy, there's a lot going on, but I wanted to have this feel of ground that's been sort of walked through so much. It's not quite paved, you know, it's maybe started off as a grassy plain, but now has turned into more of a beaten path. People coming up and down this way to pick up their arrows and everything. But it's still being claimed by wildlife, so I think the mycelium plus gravel kind of works there. I really wanted to add gravel to this build. The gravel just feels like it fits in with an archery range, you know, because of the flint. But also because some of the inspiration I've been looking at for what other people have done for archery ranges in Minecraft, it gave me some very old school kind of images. You know, builds that you can tell were made with just cobblestone and old planks and some gravel, like really, really old school builds before we had all these new fancy blocks. And you know, I thought, I like the way they use gravel there. I want to try it as well. So I did. And I'm quite proud of this. I think this looks quite cute actually. It's a lot and it's a little bit cluttered, but I think it looks okay. It actually looked a lot better without the snow. So I might go through and just add more leaf litter just randomly so we get rid of more of the snow, honestly. Yeah, I think I'll do that. It definitely looks a lot better without the snow. And I'm still a little bit sad about the leaf litter colour in this biome, but it is what it is. And that already feels a little bit less cluttered. And then I just sort of messily connected the paths here. Again, if I just leaf litter some of this, we could see a little bit better what sort of blocks we have going on underneath here. It's so hard to do any sort of a path work in the snowy plains, but I still really much enjoy the challenge of it, and I think it looks really cute overall. Big fan of this build. Let's take a little free cam look around. This is obviously the archery range. We go up this path, this little cottage with a very nice mossy roof. There's nothing on the back here, just like a little seating area for maybe the guardsmen that are walking the walls and, you know, on their on their shift. There's just like a little seating area. I didn't want to add too much. It's kind of weird when the buildings touch the back of the wall like this, but we did what we could. I really like these two roofs. They kind of work together well for me. I quite like them. I like the empty area here. I like what we did here with the path. And I'm realizing my free cam speed is probably obnoxiously fast. And I should just slowly walk it so you guys can get a good feel of what it feels like to be here. And I've actually decided when we hit 100, when we do World Tour for episode 100, I'll probably post a world download as well somehow, somewhere. And so one day you guys will get to actually experience what it's like for me to be here. And I really look forward to that day and see how people enjoy the experience of walking around this world. Hopefully by episode 100 we'll have even more things to show. But next episode is episode 74. And we're going to do a lot of interior work. I think that's the last thing I really need to finish off here is the barracks interior, and there's a couple other builds that really need interiors as well. But I'm quite happy with the interior of this one. It's very simple. It really is extremely simple. But it sort of works, you know? They're just two Fletchers hanging out, living a simple cottagecore life. Making some arrows and shooting some bows, and yeah, big fan. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope all of you have a lovely day. Keep an eye out for upcoming Arcadia episodes. I'm going to be putting in a lot of work into Arcadia. Trying to escape, but you can't. Haha. Oh, both of you are trying to escape. Excuse me, I'm doing my intro. Or my outro rather. I'm going to be putting a lot of effort into Arcadia because we do have the charity stream event, which I really need to plug. On August 16th to 17th, 2025, we are going to be doing a charity stream weekend to support the charity of Gamers Outreach. I'm really excited for it. I plan to be streaming during the time and also appearing on other Arcadian streams. Join the Arcadian Discord for more info as we get closer to the date, and check out my upcoming videos because there's a lot of things I need to get ready for that. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye! Before we end the video, I actually want to see if I can. This is going to be really weird. It's like playing a different game controlling a character this way. I'm going to see if I can fire. Wait, I don't have an arrow. I want to see if I can hit something. I really can't tell where I'm aiming. I'm actually just using the model of my character here. Oh, a little bit lower down. Oh. This is surprisingly difficult. Hit one. Oh, can I hit another one? Oh, we're so close. Yay! This is fun, actually. This is fun. See myself move this way? Hello, everyone. Hello. There we go. Hello. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Oh, I'm breaking a block. Goodbye, bye-bye.